viewers, welcome to another race with the Everyday Zwifter. Battling it out in Category C again today. We will be looking at an Evo CC sprint race, this time on the Makuri Island's Flatland Loop. And more often, as usual, there's a bunch of people who are power out of the blocks, high watts. I'm right there in the middle in no man's land trying to grab the tail of that front group. Making sure I keep track of all the other C-grade riders on the side. The legs don't feel as fresh as I'd like them to today, so it's going to be a battle. We'll see how we go. Already it's stretching out. If I had any sense, I'd close that gap and stick with that front group. So I've missed that one. With a couple of other C-grade riders, so that's good. A bit of competition. Here comes another one, and an A and some more. This would be an ideal group to latch onto and see if they could drag me back up to that front group. They're only 1 second in front. I should just spread up to them. Start of this race is mostly flat, and it goes uphill a little bit, and then it finishes with a downhill. So I'm running with my aero setup today with the 808 wheels and the Canyon aeroed frame again. Not sure what the others are running. I didn't have a look before the start. We'll have a look later. Alright, looks like there's some other riders coming up. Depending on how fast they come past, I'm going to make an effort to jump in with them and see if we can't catch up to the group in front again. Here they are, an A and some C's. Paul's got the idea, not sure I have. But here we go. We're all on. So I'm not sure what's happening with Gilbanks. His power's up and down like a, I don't know what. In between 2 and 5, so I scoot past him, make sure I'm on this group, and to make sure I'm on, I go up and up. Got to be very attentive and make sure no gaps appear, just like I've let them. A-graders have high capacity to hold power for a long time, and if you let a gap go, C-graders just don't have the power duration to hang on. Now I've nearly let this one go, so I've got to quickly wind it up and just sneak back into that draft. Water behind me's gone, he's out of the draft now. Ronald's gone. Gilbanks is gone, and he looked like he was going to hang on easily. We are slowly closing in on that group in front, which is fantastic. And I've let the gap go, and then the A-grade has put an arrow down, which means he's going to go even faster, which is a bit of a mistake on my behalf. So I'm wearing myself out just closing gaps unnecessarily. I've closed down to the C-grade, but then the A-grade's off. And now the C-grade limb in front of me is going to take off. Wall should have kept going straight past me. There goes limb, 5.5 watts kilo. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'll just slide up in behind these guys to the group in front. But no, all of a sudden I'm down, I'm out of the draft. They're 2 seconds in front. And they're gone. And I've missed it. I should have just gone that little bit harder for a little bit longer. I realise it's too late now. 200, 300 watts, no. Sayonara, bye bye. So the lesson out of all that is I ride along with them all, and everyone else has left us. So you just got to try that little bit harder to close those gaps and stay with the group. It's not very often you get a couple of extra chances to ride back up to the front of the race with A-graders flying past with others in tow. Should have made every effort to hang on to that group with ABs leading the way. Anyway, we will continue on and see what happens. Now we roll through the country sprint arch and hoping for a super power up of aero or draft or feather or anvil or something that'll be useful further along. And what do we get? 10 XP. That's hardly helpful. I'm in a race. What do I want XP for? That's fine when you're generally just going for a ride, going for a tour, but I'm racing. I want a power up, not XP. Thank you, Zwift. Please change that. Thank you. We just hit 7.3 k's to go, and as we passed that A-grader stopped on the side of the road, Mr. Walls decided he's had enough of me, and he sprinted off and left me to fend for myself and get me out of his draft. He's only gone a second or two up the road, but he's had enough. I think between my efforts of dropping off and sticky draft, you might think that I've managed to drop him from the front group. Anyway, we're off and we continue this yo-yoing chase as I slowly catch up, and then he might power off again, and then I slowly catch up, and all the while Gilbank's behind he's caught up back to 5 seconds behind after being down 15. So I'm doing my best to catch up to Mr. Wall again, but he doesn't want to borrow of it. Anytime I get close, he sprints off again. Getting closer, he's off again. So I've decided, well, I don't think that's going to pay off, so I'll just ride my own race and see what happens when we get a bit closer. This going uphill is no fun anyway. No point trying too hard. Gilbanks is coming up and see if we can work together. Yeah, getting closer. See what teamwork does for us. When I say teamwork, I mean Gilbanks. He seems intent on catching and has the power to do it. So now Walls, I've let him go 3 seconds up the road. And here comes Gilbanks. Next phase of the race. Just about all I can do to hang on to his wheel as well. Not making any inroads on Mr. Wall yet. Gilbanks has still got this high variable power output, but he's caught up to Wall, and but I just saw 8 kilowatts then, and then 2, and then 5, and then 2, and I know it's a sprint race, but I think it's a little over the top. Anyway, coming into the town now, and as we go out the other side, it's going to be all downhill to the finish, 2.4 k's to go. Now have a quick chat to see what equipment these guys are on. I see they're on their climbing frames with the DT Swiss wheels, I think they are. Anyway, so I think I've got the more aero set up for going high speed downhill, so it gives me a little bit of hope. One kilometre to go. Everyone's not pressing too hard. Got no hope of catching anyone else around. No one's going to catch us. Looking for my place to sprint. Knowing getting to the front first helps. There's a steep downhill, build up speed here. 0.4k to go, so I'm off. As I can see, it's going to kick downhill again. And it's taken them a few seconds to get on the bandwagon. So just by getting on the power first gives you a break, and with my aero setup and being able to hold about over 8 watts a kilo, I managed to hold them off. So Mr. Wall won't be too happy. You've sat behind him for most of the race and then sprinted over at the finish. But that's racing, isn't it? So a lesson from this race is stick with the groups at the start. I was lost to the other sea riders in the first 1.5 kilometres when I let those groups go. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you learned something. Hope it helps you improve to be a better rider, just like watching that again helps me. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.